Hi, my dear fellow fan friends, jcat here today to talk about Look Up in the Sky. It's a bird, it's a plane, no, it's not Superman, it's Supergirl. Oh my gosh, Supergirl flying onto the big screen, yo, with epic colors, and she's just amazing. Yeah, when I was a teenager, I watched this version of Supergirl when Christopher Reeve was in the action-packed movie theaters, and she was incredible. Like, those bright colors, her flying to find the Omega Hedron just to save her loving people of Krypton, which survived in the Inner Zone in a spaceship where their power source had gone missing. She had to go find it because it got lost on Earth. And she literally sacrificed everything just to bring that power source back to her people. She had to overcome obstacles, go through the Phantom Zone, and fight a nasty woman who believed she was a witch. Yeah, that wasn't epic, but technically the woman was just a crazy old chick using Kryptonian technology. Yeah. Now I remember my mom, she was driving along, and we were driving along this costume store. My eyes widened when I saw a Supergirl costume in the window. Exactly the one she wore in the movie, and I really wanted it. My mom knew how much I wanted it and pondered on it. And eventually she took me to get the Supergirl costume, and my world was made up that Halloween. I was like in heaven wearing that Supergirl outfit, even taking a picture of myself by the sunset looking like I'd just come out of the Supergirl movie. It was spectacular. Superheroes have been a thing of mine since I was a kid, and it inspired my childhood to be a better hero. Truth, justice, the American way, it always said, whenever I read a comic book in school. And I've seen a bunch of Supergirls over the years that I just fell in love with. There was one from the Justice League Unlimited, also the Superman animated series Connected universe. This Supergirl was like a young teenager. She got saved from Kendor, again, like from her planet, because her planet died, even in chambers where they were trying to suspend an animation, but she was the only one who survived the procedure. Later, came back to Earth with Clark and got superpowers. She stayed with Mal and Paul Kent and then went to visit Clark in the big city once in a while, but eventually becoming her own hero, Supergirl. And she decided she didn't belong in the past where she knew nothing about technology because she missed her home world. So she went to the future, and when she got there, she discovered a whole new world and a place where she belonged. She decided to stay in the future with Brainiac's grandson, who was trying to be the black sheep of his family for destroying Krypton. That Supergirl was a personal favorite of mine. Now, the next Supergirl runner-up is Supergirl Smallville. I absolutely adored Supergirl Smallville. That was an all-time favorite of mine growing up, and Supergirl Smallville inspired my heart because she was a kick-butt. She cared a lot about Clark and kind of was the older sibling who sort of babied him a little, tried to protect him from his destiny, tried to help him out. And eventually she goes to the future too, but that's later on when she realizes that helping Clark the most by letting him go. And it was sad, but it was beautiful. Now, Supergirl in the Superman animated series, she was a badass, she was a kick-butt. I absolutely did adore her character. She was really cute, had a crush on Jimmy Olsen. Adorable. Now, the Supergirl in DC Superhero Girls. It was kind of like watching Monster High or Ever After High, but they actually based one off DC Nation, where they had all the girls from DC Nation going to a high school. It was pretty cool. Teenage drama. High School Musical, let's bring that into the mix. That's exactly what they did. Descendants. That was a good era, in my opinion. It was Supergirl on PBS. I have not seen the newer PBS versions of Supergirl, but I have seen the first one, where she was just starting out. She had superpowers and had some cute moments where she was carrying coffee to Cad Grant's office and dealing with her sister, who was a badass super spy for the Men in Black, apparently. Here come the Men in Black! Yeah. Oh, not that Men in Black. But apparently they made a deal with this family to keep her secret, so they could never tell the world she was Supergirl, and she eventually found her way. Now, there was another personal favorite of mine, Supergirl in the Flash movie. I know Flash messed with the multiverse and this Supergirl was a one-time deal, but this was a really cool Supergirl. Like, she was a badass, she wore the Man of Steel costume, and she kicked butt, and almost beat General Zod if it hadn't been for his ruthlessness and, muscle. Like, ew. If it wasn't for certain references, she could have kicked his butt. Flash, you messed it up again. Now, we're getting on to the new Supergirl. Now, everyone's saying she's a drunk. She's not made for women. They're just saying all these kind of stuff that doesn't make sense. But my thought on the matter is, even if she is a drunk, it is possible she is just grieving about Krypton, because in our lives, we all have things we grieve about, I'm sure. Things that we wish could have been different. I'm sure we can all relate. So I'm thinking maybe it'll turn out to be a love story. She's messed up her life. She lost Krypton. She's really grieving about it. She's hurting inside because those people on Krypton, she's never going to see them again. They were her entire world, her family. Unlike Clark, she was not raised on Earth. So it is possible, very possible, that it might turn out to be a story where she turns her life around and then realizes that people need her to be the hero she was meant to be. That she is supposed to be a hero, not a drunk, and she's meant to be so much more than what she has been. She was just grieving about Krypton. It's not because she's a bad person. That's what I believe the story is going to be about. A girl who turns her life around and turns to the light side from the dark that she was trapped in. May the Force be with you, my dear fellow fan friends. Until next time.